Being no stranger to public office, he has served in substantial roles such as the permanent secretary under the Ministry of Communications and Works. He also served as the director of water and sewage for a number of years. A prominent businessman, and as most of you may know, the brainchild behind Vino, that's Virgin Islands News Online. But today, most notably, he stands elected as your new Speaker of the House of Assembly. Viewers, today we zero in with Mr. Julian Willock on his new appointment in government. I'm Javon Wilson. Stay tuned for your 284 exclusive.
Money, 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 money! Madness! Mad! Mad! March Madness, only at CCT. CCT March Madness is back with even more crazier deals and giveaways. Top up $20 anywhere and everywhere and enter to win $500 every week in the month of March. Top up at the store, top up online, top up at your favorite top up spot, top up at a CCT promotion, and you just might walk away with money, 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 cause it's mad, mad. March Madness, only at CCT, Life Unlimited.
Mr. Willock, the last time we invited you to 284 Media, it was based on a loss, of course, the internal elections for Virgin Islands Party. Today we are here to highlight a win, of course, by way of your recent appointment in the House of Assembly. You stand here elected as the Speaker of the House of Assembly. I must extend hearty congratulations to you and welcome you back.
Well, thank you, and I'm humbled by the Premier, Honorable Andrew A. Foy and his entire team, and I want to say for the House, because the opposition leader did not present an alternative. Right. Therefore, it's fair to say that I had unanimous support,
the full support
from the House of Assembly, which I take with much humility and gratefulness.
All right, the most recent election season brought quite a few revelations. We had some good, we had some not so good. We saw history being made with the Virgin Islands Party securing a major victory to become the new government of the Virgin Islands, but it was really based on their mantra of change and renewal. Of course, a principle that you as well would have embraced. Today you stand elected as the Speaker of the House, and this role really comes with a lot of responsibilities. Now, since your appointment, many conflicting reviews, especially on social media, regarding who the government would have elected to take up this role. Now, off the bat, the big question surrounds your ability to exercise impartiality, which is a big thing, big role of the Speaker of the House. How are you going to be able to distance yourself from Vino?
Well, first of all, the first part of your question has to do with social media. Mm-hmm. And I have been all my life an advocate for free speech. Mm-hmm. So I have no objections to members of the public expressing their views. I will never want to be a part of anything that kills free speech.
That's your democratic right.
Of course. And all I will say is that if they get into the realm of libel and slander, then we'll have a different conversation. But as long as people are expressing their opinion, I will welcome that. I continue to welcome that because I remain an advocate for free speech. As far as Vino, I do own a company, Advanced Marketing, that owns a news media. The news media is about, I think it's 10 years old. And it's about 8 years now that I have separated myself from the editorial board.
Okay.
That is run by a editor-in-chief. That person has all the power. I can't tell them.
So you have absolutely no influence?
No influence on the editorial board.
Okay.
I still have a small part where I deal with revenue.
Okay.
If someone has an ad, they'll probably call me up, and I don't see that changing, and I will declare that as per the laws of the country and my new role now as Speaker of the House. But people need not worry about my influence on Vino. It's over 8 years now. I don't write stories. I don't tell them what to write. There are people who come to me, give me information, I do pass it on, and perhaps that will have to stop. In terms of things like sensitive information leaking out, remember I was a permanent secretary. Vino was around, there was no sensitive information leaking out. I have always conducted myself in a professional manner, and that is not going to change. So there is no Nothing to fear with my company owning Vino. For the record, I do not write stories. I have zero influence on the editorial board, what they write, what they blog. Actually, it's so funny, I got a call last night. Someone was saying, did you check Vino? They're beating up on you on the blogs. Now, I don't have the power to go and say to the editor, well, take that down because it's about me.
Well, I mean, to a great extent, persons are concerned because Vino is, I would consider the Fox News of the BVI. Yes, the news is delivered, breaking news especially, but it's delivered in what I would consider to be more of a provocative way, a raw way. So persons are definitely very concerned about news being leaked. And you're fully associated with Vino. So I guess the public does have some concerns, and they might be valid, but I'm very glad that you're here to clarify your role in Vino.
Yeah, and it's legitimate concern, and I welcome, because look, we live in a democracy. People have a right to want their Speaker of the House to be transparent, to be upright, to be upfront, and it will be unethical of me to be leaking stuff to any, whether Vino or any news site. So there is nothing to worry about. As I said, it's now 7 going on 8 years that I have not exercised zero editorial control of Vino. That will not change as my capacity as speaker. My only tiny role with advanced marketing is that I am still responsible for the marketing aspect in terms of advertisement. So if you have a little ad, Jovan, you can call me still, and we'll get it up, and the messenger will probably at some point collect the check. So that's the extent of my role with Virgin Islands News.
For free?
Well, that's a good question.
Mr. Willock, a couple of years ago, you were fired from civil service. We all know how that unraveled in the High Court. Of course, the charges were dismissed, but since your appointment, it came up yet again on social media. Looking back now, do you think that you should have been given a second chance?
Well, I don't know anything about whether first chance, second chance, or third chance. Let's go back to the history of what happened. In 2010, there was a tabloid that claimed that I had persons working for me without work permit. The government subsequently read that article and sent me on leave. We took the government to court. Hey, I have rights. You have to prove that what this paper is saying is so. The court, throughout the case, throughout the government's decision to send me on leave, and recommended that I be instated back to my job. The Public Service Commission voted unanimously for Julian Willock to return to his job as permanent secretary. Now, at the time there was a change of government, which was the National Democratic Party government. They told the governor, who conveyed to me, that, look, we don't want to work with Julian Willock. So subsequently, he was in a little bind, so he had to find a way to separate me from the civil servant, what you now describe as being dismissed. But all along, all the accusations against me have been proven in the court of law, through the Public Service Commission, who, by the way, conducted their own investigation. All the allegations have been proven false. So I don't know why people are describing this as a second chance for me. It's a first chance because I was falsely accused. I won in court. All the records are there. So there's nothing to be concerned about, because you accused Mr. Willock, and the accusation was more or less unethical.
Okay.
And without any evidence, I'm sent on leave.
Do you think this was like a case of yellow journalism by the BVIB?
It was a case of yellow journalism, and also it was a case by this government of rush to judgment. The previous government as rush to judgment, But in terms of my role in the House of Assembly, I have pledged during my opening remarks to be fair and impartial. The opposition members were sent there by the constituents, by the districts, so they have a right to be heard. Notwithstanding, I have a right also to preside at the House in a way whereby the government's agenda is not interrupted unnecessarily.
Right, first and
so
foremost.
So the key is to strike that balance.
Right, okay. Notably, in the past, you've been a big supporter of Julian Fraser. Last elections, however, we saw you in full allegiance with the Virgin Islands Party. I have to ask Mr. Willock, was it a difficult decision to support the Virgin Islands Party instead of Progressives United?
Well, as the new Speaker of the House, I don't want to diverge into political opinions or who I supported and who I didn't support. I will say that every citizen in this country has a democratic right to support whomever they wish, and the election is over. I have been fortunate and privileged to be appointed Speaker, and I will serve in that role very professionally. I will serve in that role. I will strive to be impartial, and also I will bring back the dignity of the House. In the last 8 years, the House of Assembly has been used as a place to victimize.
As one of the highest houses.
Yeah, it has been used as a place to be dismissive of opposition members. We have to restore that. That is our symbol of democracy. And I want to play a fair and impartial role to restoring the House, to restoring our symbol of democracy, especially now that person's going to have conversations about self-determination. We have to strengthen the House, first of all, as an institution. And I want to play a role in doing that. So I will be professional, I will be transparent, and I will recognize that every member has a right in that House, whether they sit on the government side and they sit on the opposition side. And again, the key for any speaker is to strike that balance.
Rightfully said. So like you said, we're all here now. You have been elected the Speaker of the House of Assembly, and I must again extend hearty congratulations to you on this appointment and really allow you that opportunity, that fair opportunity to exercise your impartiality. And this should be, in my opinion, the general approach of the public. You have been elected by the government of the Virgin Islands. Clearly, they have confidence in you.
And not mean to cut you off, because I know a lot of people are saying on the social media that, well, he supported a particular party, therefore automatically he will not be fair and impartial. I went to do some research, and in the Commonwealth countries, 85% of the speakers are members who have ran with the party win, and they become speaker.
Right.
So already you can't label that person because they ran with party X. They have a seat, they have a constituency, they're a speaker. You can't necessarily label them as not going to be impartial or fair. Automatically. In the United Kingdom, we practice a form of government called the Westminster system. The Speaker of the House in the United Kingdom is a part of the government. He has been elected in a constituency through the Conservative Party. Can we now just assume that he's going to be not fair and impartial because he ran with the Theresa May's government? So we have to be fair in our analysis. We have to give people a chance, and we have to allow the process to take its course. So I'm saying to all those who are claiming that Mr. Willock will not be impartial and fair, to look at the role of the speaker, not throughout history, because speakers, even in some of the Caribbean islands, are elected members. Now we have a unique system where you can bring someone in from outside, or the Premier and his colleagues can elect someone from inside the chambers who has been elected. They have never taken that option. So I will say to the public that
it's nothing new.
It's the way speakers are elected throughout the world, and even in the United States. Obviously, the first female speaker in the United States, she is a member of the Democratic Party. So can you automatically say she would not be fair? But I'm humbled by this job, and in parting, I will say that people come up to me, oh, you have a lot of power now, and I'm like, it's not about the power. Power should be used to help. Power should be used to lead. Power should be used to empower other people, not power for self, but power to improve the system, improve our democracy. That's a place where bills are passed. These bills must be bills that improve our lives, and we must be told about the bills, how they help, how they don't help, how they're going to affect us. And I am confident that we will see in the Fourth House of Assembly a different disposition. The House will be respected, and I want to see, when I leave the House of Assembly, whether 2 or 3 years from now, I want to see it's a place where young women, young boys and girls strive to be premiers, strive to be speakers, strive to be ministers of government. That's my hope for this job.
Well, Mr. Willock, the government's campaign was built on transparency and accountability. And again, I think the public will now look to you as well as the government in that same capacity. So with all of that said, allow me once again to say congratulations to you on behalf of Team 284 Media. We wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
We look forward to your tenure in office.
Thank you very much for inviting me back.
All right. I'm Javon Wilson, and this has been your 284 exclusive.